This began last fall as a collaboration between a lot of entities and gave these inmates an opportunity to increase their skills by coming to the college and taking our WLD 140-141 class, which is MIG welding. We chose that class because there's a high demand in the employment field. To be able to learn those skills, earn those credentials, and then go straight out, hit the ground running, as we would say. But just really give them an opportunity to reacclimate, re-enter into society moving forward, rather than having to start anew without any really foundation for them to be successful and prevent that cycle of going back into incarceration.
When they leave jail, they are leaving with funds, resources, and a network of people to help them. People do deserve second chances, and these are individuals who are paying the consequences of their actions, but deserve the ability to move on and have a successful life.
Got in trouble, got a felony. One thing led to another, and I was doing 3 years and turned to 5 years, until I was given this chance. At first, we didn't know what was going to come out of it, I thought it'd go somewhere, I just wanted to stay and stick it out and see what it done, and I'm glad it did. I walked out there with a chunk of money. At least I could give me a place to stay, a vehicle, get myself going, Didn't have to fall back on where am I going to stay at, who am I going to stay with, or how am I going to get back and forth to work. Life looks good, it does. I got a career now, I'm excited.
I started my sentence in 2009. I did like 3.5 years, and I got out and went on the run for about 8 years, and then got locked back up. Before I got out, they offered me the opportunity for the welding class. I couldn't turn it down. Getting out to having a good job and being stable, there's nothing like it really. You don't have to go back to your old ways. There's no reason for it. It was a good head start. Then I got to the welding program. I'd never welded before either. It was fun. It was a good learning process. I liked it. The jail started me a bank account. I had a little over $5,000 saved up, which I used to pay my restitution off, so I got out. I'm actually off parole now. I served out October 13th. It's helped tremendously. If you don't make payments on your restitution when you're on parole, eventually they're going to revoke you. And being a convicted felon in these days, it's hard to get a job anywhere. And this opportunity, it was a godsend. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be better off than I am right now.
What I think is most important and what I'm seeing the most is hope. They've re-entered society. They are really being productive members of society. We are definitely seeing that those individuals who have been successful in this program are not reoffending.
I was incarcerated for 3.5 years. I had a couple trafficking charges that got me locked away. I was just trying to make some extra money. For the first year I sat in jail and I didn't do anything. I just read books. There's not a lot of things that you can do. Watch TV, sleep a lot for a year straight, and didn't do anything. When I started the welding program, we started going to the school, and I was really intimidated because I literally hadn't left the jail and hadn't been around people much. There was a bunch of us girls, and we were all excited. And we were really competitive because we wanted to just kind of show that girls could do it too. It was our only chance, and what we done out there reflected, the rest of the girls in the cell that really wanted the opportunity too.
For the first cohort, we actually had to go to the jail that day, and I had to recruit students, because just because we envisioned this great plan and program, it doesn't necessarily mean there's going to be buy-in from the inmates. We walked into their barracks, and you walk in there, and it's jail, right? It smells like jail, looks like jail. You've got about 50 to 60 inmates in there, and most of them look like that, they didn't want us to be there. And I said, I'm here today to give you guys an opportunity to change your identity. And everybody kind of looked at me. I said, when I walked in here today, y'all look like a bunch of crooks. And the room was just quiet. I said, but through this program, you can change that identity. I said, when they announced me coming in here, they announced me as Associate Dean Hall, but he could have announced me as a liar. He could have announced me as a drug addict. He could have announced me as a drunkard, but that was my identity in the past. My identity now is as Associate Dean and Youth Pastor. And I said, so for you all, while you're identified as criminals right now, I'm giving you the opportunity to change that identity once you get out of this. And it's going to take skills to change that identity, but you can do it. 10 minutes later, if we could have signed up all 40 of them, I think we could have, because you had to talk to, the ears that are listening. It's about how you're going to get out and what you're going to do with your life post-incarceration. And it's a process. It is. I mean, to go to those classes every day, stay out of trouble, learn that skill, and then apply it.
We assist them with creating their resumes. We make sure that they are prepared for their interviews. I actually made the connection with Hendrickson, which is the employer that employs our inmates after they've completed their training at the college. We just make sure that they're fully prepared for the transition, because it is a big transition from being in jail, not doing anything all day, to going to work every day, following a schedule, and building consistency in their lives.
When I got out, the Goodwill and other places had came up to the jail. They made sure I had a plan. I was really surprised, because when you're in jail for so long, people don't really try to help you in the way that they did. It's like, I've been in and out of jail since I was 8 years old. So this wasn't my first go around with being incarcerated. I had a 10-year sentence before this one that I just finished, but I never learned anything. I didn't have any resources. I would just go to jail and they would release me, and good luck. That's why I know that this time was different, because I actually have things to stand on, and I have people to look to in situations, and I'm just really proud.
I'm Tom Saylor. I'm a career facilitator for the Correctional Institute of Kentucky Rise. I don't keep up with the days of the week. I can't tell you when it's Friday or when it's Monday, and that's the truth. I literally live only for this day. Now, if tomorrow comes and I'm in it, that's great. I'm ready for it. I prepare for it, but I don't expect it. First time I caught a charge, I was 11 years old. It was drug related, and they locked me up for 2.5 years. So I was turning 15 when I got out. Before I knew it, I picked up another case. I had 4 20-year sentences. It got reduced to 4 10-year sentences. At the end of '88, I got out. And so I flew under the radar for 13 years. And then I was coming out of Mexico, and I'd caught a ride with a mule, and I got 2 5-year sentences in a little bitty town, no businesses there. I didn't know how to get a job. I never even had a job, ever. Just so happened Goodwill had a job readiness program in that little town. At that same time, I paroled out. I wasn't even out 2 days, and then I was in the class on the 3rd day out. It was a godsend to be able to learn how to walk, talk, what's expected, how do you need to look. It was the tools that they gave me in there that helped me in my next step to convince somebody that I'd be a great pick if they gave me an opportunity. That's how it started. So a career coach came to me out of nowhere. They said, what do you want to do? I said, I like to help people that feel the way I feel right now, that are going through what I'm going through. So if you can help me find a job doing that, that's what I want. When I did what I did, I sure wasn't helping people, I was hurting people. And so now I want to finish out my life, helping people. I'm not trying to buy my way into nowhere. I just want to sleep good at night and know I made a difference in somebody's life. So I shot for the employment specialist. And 3 days later, they called me and said, we're going to offer you the position. And so I navigated my way through Goodwill's organization until I heard Reentry. When I heard Reentry, I knew I was where I'm supposed to be. I advocated it over and over and over. Every time I heard it, I pushed it. Reentry is where my heart is, There's a lot of hopelessness and despair amongst people that have been through what I've been through, how society views us. And, I tell them, walk a certain way and they can't view you that way. And that's one of the things we really work on, how to shape ourselves to be seen a certain way. Perception's a form of judgment. So whatever they perceive, make sure they're perceiving the right thing. Goodwill opened the doors for me and I walk through them. But it's kind of selfish. I give these tools away so I can keep them. I teach these tools so I'll use them. And so I have to use them every day relentlessly. Because if you've had 4 decades of criminal living, behind you, it's easy to fall back into an old habit. So just sharing how you did it gives people hope that they can do it as well. So Goodwill changed the course of my life and the course of many other people's lives as well. It's a place where there's hope, where you have been walking around and having doors closed in your face and people not wanting to help you. This place, the doors are open. They don't care what you've done. So we'll walk with you and we'll give you a hand up. You're not gonna feel judged like you would in other places. And even though, it's been my experience, some people don't know how to take people like me, and I understand. I'm a certain way and I work on it every day. I'm not a smiling kind of guy, but people can tell by my tone, the people that I work with, that I care about them and that I'll do anything I can for anybody that comes to work for Goodwill. And that's my message to every new person that walks in the door. But I drive home to the individuals that are like me. You're gonna have to work a little harder. You're gonna have to convince them a little more because of your barriers and the obstacles that you've been facing and you will face. Let people come, and I tell them, come see for yourself. Come see what we do. I had somebody go, 9 years ago, I came through your class, and look at me. He pulled up in a company truck, supervisor title, making more money than I. And this guy, he spent most of his time in prison, and now he hasn't been in prison for 9 years. So does it work? Absolutely, if you really wanted to. I love what I do. I love the people that I work with because we all have the same mission in mind. I don't have no bad days. If I do, it's because I chose it, and so I don't choose them. It's so easy to fall back, where I came from, and so as long as I keep doing his work and Goodwill's work, I can't go wrong. So.
Every time I think about Goodwill, think about people who need the job, I tell about the job and what they've done for me. I'm trying to be a mentor to myself and to everyone who needs it. Through Goodwill, it made me stronger. I found myself. So, I look at myself now and there's Tyrone in there, not the other person. The career coach is she's a wonderful woman, She's so helpful. Everything that she done for me that I couldn't do for myself because I didn't have nobody on my side. When I came to Goodwill, you go to the links, you said if you try, I try. And then I've been doing everything. And through the Goodwill, it helped me, like for instance, I got the bike. When I got that bike, I rode that bike everywhere. I had to be back in a certain time, but I did get my ride on, Take rides with my granddaughter, my grandson, and we could ride along, the waterfront. And I could thank God with my helmet on and my gear. So it's like, man, I look at myself now and man, I've done this. And I applied myself more and more. Sometimes in a point of my life, I had people holding my hand. Now I don't need it hold my hand. Now I just go out and do it now. Because the confidence is already, my self-esteem's up, everything. So I owe it to God, I owe it to you, and I owe it to Goodwill. Down the line, I want to see myself in a house. Down the line, I want to see myself sharing the gift that God gave me, not give to someone else. Go through Goodwill, this promise. But if you want it, you have to want this. I want it. And look where I'm at right now. I got a bicycle, got a car was given to me, but I don't think I'm gonna go that way. I'm trying to buy me one through Goodwill. So everything I'm doing, I'm going through Goodwill. Because I know everything they gave me is a challenge. This challenge right here to me is more than anything because I accomplished things I've never done in 10 to 15 years. Even though I was married twice and everything, it's like, now I look at my life now, it's different, totally different. Now, if they could see me now. I'm so happy. I'm not sad about nothing. And if I do have a bad day, you never know it because I'm always keeping a smile because I tell God to help me. And I'm not just there talking to God, I breathe Him and live Him. And that's what I'm gonna do from here on out. I'm growing with this company. I see myself 5 to 7, 8 years now, maybe 10 years down the line, I'm gonna be a supervisor because I think I can run. But as I put my goals, these are my goals. Each goal I check off. I checked off, I got a bike. I checked off, I got a job. I checked off, that I'm ready to get an apartment. Now I checked off, I got this, I got that. Now things has happened for me, and the people in Goodwill are so, oh man, oh, them people are so, oh God, if people only knew. Go to Goodwill, they would help you. Anything, clothing, car, employment, house, whatever you think you need, license, whatever you think you need, they will help you. But you got to take them steps. In order to get them steps, you got to go through the classes. And if you go through the class, you get a diploma. I got 2 diplomas. I got, man, oh man, this is what Goodwill done for me. Thank you, Goodwill. Thank you, God. Thank you, Goodwill.
Because of my past, you know, the first impression that employers get of me is that I'm a criminal, 7-time felon. I know that without someone being able to look past my background, that I would probably never get a chance to prove what a great employee I can be. And I know that I can be a great leader, and I know that I can be very loyal, dependable, and hardworking. I became an assistant store manager, and that was probably one of the biggest accomplishments. The biggest thing was when he handed me keys to the store and the register, and I just kind of looked at him and I'm like, do you realize, like, I'm a thief? I have theft charges, and you're handing me the keys to your store and you're giving me the combination, your safe. Like, that's a big thing. And I was so scared, I was so humbled, I didn't know what to do with them. I just kind of stared at him in my hand. I live in a sober living. It's called Oxford House. One of the first things that I tell girls who come into the house who are having a hard time, they don't have a car, they don't have a license, they don't have ID, you know, they're just starting out from scratch and they have no idea where to turn. I said, start with Goodwill. Get you a career coach. You would not believe the resources that will become available to you. I actually have 3 other roommates that work for Goodwill as well. All you got to do is keep trying, because I didn't think there was any hope for me. I had reached such a low spot, such a dark and scary, lonely spot, that I didn't think there was no getting out of it. And because of Goodwill, you know, I wouldn't be where I am today. I know that they would give me the second chance to be able to prove myself.
I've been an addict since I was like a heavy addict since I was like 13 years old. I started out with opiates at 13. When I hit my 20s, it's when it started getting really bad. Ended up blowing my heart valve off and didn't know it, so I was laying at home, thought I had the flu and a UTI, because, you know, I never had either one of those. And I was laying at home in bed dying for like a week, and I ended up going on a ventilator for 22 days. When I came off the ventilator, my sister had passed away, and they already had her funeral and everything. They didn't even tell me till 2 months later because I was still very sick and they wanted me to get better, and they didn't want that to affect my process of getting better. I did 5 months total in the hospital. I had 7 surgeries. I had 2 open heart surgeries, valve replacement, a pacemaker put in. I had 4 lung surgeries, and I lost a piece of my left lung. You know, I did some things in my addiction, and I had caught some charges, so I was on the run from the police, and I was looking at 10 to 20 on both of my charges. They put me on house arrest for a year while I was going through courts and stuff, trying to figure out what they was going to do with my case. So when I got off house arrest, the day I got off, I relapsed again. From October to January, within a 3-month span, I overdosed 6 times. You know, at this time, I knew I couldn't do it on my own, so I decided I'm going to get a sponsor. I'm going to go to Sober Living. I'm going to do all the things they tell me to do, even if I don't want to. I only had like 30, 60 days sober. I applied here at Goodwill part-time, and I was working here on Saturdays and Sundays, hanging every weekend. During the week, Monday through Friday, I had got introduced to this program called CEO Center for Employment Opportunities. So I was doing that during the week and coming here on the weekends and still doing my IOP. And 4 months ago, I came back as a site supervisor, and now I'm able to give back to these people with that, what they gave to me. It's great because my first job, I get to work with people that's like me, and my second job at the Goodwill, I get to work with people that's just like me. Grateful is an understatement because I never pictured my life being where it's at now. This is the longest I've ever had sober in my whole entire life.
What brought me to Goodwill is they're a second chance place, and I've got a background, so it means a lot. Because a lot of places don't even give you that chance. Goodwill is it's more than a retail store. They give people with disadvantages, they give them jobs. People with background barriers, they give them jobs. They help numerous of people. Anything you need, they're there to help. By working here, I've got my license back. They help me with that. I've got a car, achieving my GED, and they're paying for that through Work and Learn. They pay me to go to school for that. With the advantages of you work for an amazing employer, there's always, it's not a handout, it's a hand up, and no matter what you're going through, they're there to help you. They help you with your education, they got me my teeth, there's so many things that they have to offer.
I'd gotten in a little trouble and went to rehab and got in a drug court program, and they said we had to have so many hours of work or community service, so I come back here. I heard Goodwill did community service, and that's how I got started here. And it means the world to me to get that second chance, because a lot of people in my situation needs that second chance that you can't hardly get. That's probably one of the best things that I've learned that Goodwill has going since I've been here. I didn't realize they did things like that, and they don't judge you upon your past or anything like that, so your second chance is really not even a second chance if you just think about it, because they don't judge you upon that. They're just giving you a chance to, at a good job, good place, good environment to work, and it's up to you to take that and run with it. But I decided to turn my life around. I'm 2 years clean now. December the 11th made 2 years that I've been drug-free. Trying to stay clean was a job, because you're always sick from not having it, and your neighbor down the road or a phone call away, you can feel better again, and that was my whole problem. I'd stay clean for 2 or 3 days at a time, that was it. If you're not busy and contributing to something that you can see your outcome in, you'll be sick again, You'll be right back out into the madness. But I've got to see that I'm doing good, and I'm appreciated where I'm at, and evidently I'm appreciated where I'm at because they want me to move up, and that lets me know that I'm doing all things right. And by doing things right, people see the good in you. They don't judge you for your past, even if they know it. A lot of people here don't know my past, which they wouldn't judge me anyway.
My name is Emery Stephen Reed. I work at Goodwill New Circle and have been here since September of 2019. Prior to that, I was incarcerated in Virginia for 44 years. Prior to that, I was in the military. I came to Goodwill on a very weird whim. There was supposed to be a job fair out in the parking lot, and I hit a couple of other tables, and then somehow I came to the Goodwill table. The next thing I know, I was whisked into Goodwill's office while working at the same time of beginning work in the free world after 44 years. I was also learning socialization and everything else. I got a crash course because working in Goodwill, I work as a cashier. I meet all sorts of people from all sorts of life, down, up, sideways, and everything else. There's been conversations with some customers as to why there's a gap in my life, and I explain them that I was incarcerated. It surprises a lot of people that a person is incarcerated for 44 years and personally does not have any tattoos or anything else that says I was a prisoner. I think I am a success for Goodwill, and hopefully a continuing success for Goodwill, because I found people here that have gone through hard times like I have in my life. They have been down and got up and everything. And it gives you a place to grow. Presently, next month, I will be 66 years old. I'm trying to work long enough and do enough good work to where by the time I hit maybe my middle 70s, I can actually retire and see what the rest of my life has. But Goodwill has been very, very good to me. They work with me on my schedule to where I meet certain requirements. I'm able to have days off that I'm supposed to meet my parole officer and everything else. So there's a lot of good that comes from Goodwill. Now prior to this, I didn't know Goodwill existed. Yesterday, I was someplace and I downloaded some stuff on where the history of Goodwill comes from and everything. On it is the 3 important things to do and everything else, and out on our wall, it has one of the last ones of doing the right thing all the time. So with doing the right thing all the time, you might come in and you might not feel like dealing with somebody's problems or whatever, but everybody needs a listening ear. Everybody needs someone to listen and care and everything else. And in my position, everybody comes in, you might get a little bit of what's going on in their world or not, but you can do something to get a grin on their face. That's a good thing. So I'm happy to be at Goodwill, and I hope to be here until I'm able to retire.
I was pretty bad off. Mom and dad had just passed away, so honestly, I would say that gave me a reason. That gave me an excuse to act stupid. And I totally used it to my benefit. I was like, they're passed away. So I was lost out there doing whatever. That was an active addiction at the time. So it was coming out of that, pretty much. They got me here. I needed some place to do community service hours. So my friend that worked here at the time, he said, I know a perfect place you can go and get these hours out the way, man. I was like, cool. So I came to Goodwill. They just really liked what I was doing. I was doing the community service and everything. Because I remember she came to me and said, you were just good with customers. You got a great smile. And I like how you are. I'm like, cool, cool. So they told me to fill out the application. And from there, I went from doing community service to now I'm working in the company. So I'm like, man, to be working was great because now that's money, that's mine. It wasn't just free time just throwing out there. I was just gaining something from it. I mean, Goodwill didn't look at drug court and go, oh, he's one of them. No, they were like, oh, okay, well, how can we help? How can we help you? How can we, what, we need this time off, we need this to happen. And I'm like, yeah, word, okay, that's cool. And they would make it happen for me, make it work out. I think I want to always go back and thank drug court for that, because if it wasn't for them, honestly, I would have never came here. I would have never even been here. I would have been stuck out in the street somewhere still doing stuff. So that part's really awesome. Came to this store, and I would say since the moment I've been here, it's always been one heck of an adventure after another. I think this was kept me around so long, because it's like, people say it all the time, man, Vet, you can go get a job here, you can go do this. I'm like, yeah, but it's not gonna be nowhere the same. It's not gonna be the same people. It's not gonna be that kind of same vibe. And that goes a long way when you're working for someone this long. I mean, you gotta have that. And the vibe here is really cool. And that's what the vibe here is so cool. And the people are so cool that I work with. The Cause for Work program, Joanna has been such a large help with me in that one. Her being that stoked and excited will, I think, literally make you that stoked and excited to do it too. I mean, it will. You're just like, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, and you feel like, I didn't have it before, but okay, you say so, we got it. We can do this. I knew what I had to have. I knew what needed to be done. And she was so on point with we're gonna make this happen that she was just making stuff boom. As soon as I had something, she'd be like, okay, boom, get this, get this, get this. So like, she pushed me big time in that to make it happen. Having the car, that helped out too much. That helped out too much, because now it made it very possible for me to get back and forth. And I'm not far. I mean, I'm probably like 5 minutes from the store, but I mean, come on, that is boom, boom, boom. That's very convenient. Something happens, boom, boom, right there, no problem. Kids are right there in school, so if something happens, boom, boom, go to school, I can do it. And why? Because now I have a vehicle. And the Goodwill is not just, it's far past a secondhand store. It's not a secondhand store. It's a great store to come and make your life happen. If you didn't have anything to build up on, we have the means to make you build up on. They make it able, really nice and able for you to get out there and make it work for you. You know what I'm saying? You can't just make it happen. You gotta make it work. Start from someplace, and they at least give you a starting ground. It's up to you from the maker to go with that. You know how far you want to go with it. If you want to stop, then you can stop. But Goodwill will always give you that opportunity. At least they at least give you a chance and opportunity. And I love that they give you a chance and opportunity, because I'm doing something for the community. You know, not just them gotta get these community service hours in. I was happy for that, but I was happy because I was like, I feel like I'm doing something. I'm helping people do something. Yeah. And that part of you does feel like that. It does. You do feel like you're happy, actually making something happen and making something good happen with some people. And when these clientele and customers come in here and let you know just how awesome you are and for helping them and stuff, sometimes it does blow me out the water, because I'm like, you're blowing my head up with all kind of nonsense. But then sometimes I take it, I'm just like, you know what, that's something cool. I can take that home and feel good about that. At the end of the day, like, word, thank God. You know, it's true. Heck yeah, heck yeah.